Hi everyone, this is Chris from AllstyleGuitar.com, and today we're going to be reviewing how to make chord changes easier. So, one of the things that I've seen with my students in particular is that chord changes can be really tricky. Now, there's a lot of different chords you can play on guitar. So I'm going to cover a couple strategies to help you with whatever you're working on. So the first one I like to go to is usually to just practice the left hand alone. And it's just taking the right hand out of the equation, and we only work on making the chord shapes and then changing between them. Alright? So no matter what chords you are playing, you can try this and it should help clear things up a little bit. So I'm going to break things down a little bit more, but this one technique of just doing the left hand alone will help. Okay, so now the next one is fantastic if you have two chords that share a note. So for example, once again, we're going to play the C major chord. And then we're going to go to the A minor chord. So now, we're going to use a guide finger to change between the two chords. So a guide finger is just one shared note. And the guide finger I'm going to be using is the first finger, right here on the first fret of the second string. So the C major chord, the shape is finger 1, 2, and 3 on different frets on different strings. So now, I'm going to keep my first finger down, which is the note C, lift my other two fingers, and then move them to place the A minor chord. Then I'll play it. And then I can even do the same thing back. Okay, so now, one other chord that we can do is a slightly varied G major chord. And then I'm going to go to a D major chord. What I was doing is I was playing the third fret of the second string here, which is the note D. And I was using it to change between a G major chord to a D major chord. Okay, so there's always something you can do to make a chord change easier if they share a note. And in this case, it's the guide finger. So now, if we start having a little bit more of complicated chords, I like to try something called the lift and shift. Another way to think of it is thinking of an airplane and a helicopter. So a plane kind of takes off and lands, and a helicopter goes up, it moves, and then it comes down. So then what happens is, let's take our famous C major chord once again. I'm going to play the C major chord. I'm going to lift my hand off the frets, and then I'm going to move it to whatever chord I'm going to go to. So now, in this example, I'll move to a G major chord. I've lifted, and now I've shifted to the new chord, and I make the chord shape with my fingers, and then I just place them down. So then, if I slow this down once again, it'll be playing the C major chord, lifting my fingers, shifting them to the next chord, making the shape with the fingers, and then just coming down and placing them properly on the fret. So now if I do it with slightly more complicated chords, let's say I'm going to a D major chord, major chord, which is challenging for a lot of guitarists. I'm going to go from here to here. Oops. So now I'm going to play the D major chord. I'm going to lift the D major chord. I'm going to shift my fingers, prepare the chord in the air, and then just place it down. So in slow motion, once again, I'm playing the D major chord. I'm lifting the D major chord. I'm shifting to the new chord shape, and I'm making that chord shape in the air, and then I'm just placing it down. So that's the lift and shift, and it can work for a number of different chords. So this next method is just sort of breaking things down. If you have a long and complex chord progression, don't worry about putting everything together at once. Break things down, or divide and conquer, as I like to say. Instead of practicing all the chords in the chord progression, just practice between two specific chords, because we can only shift between two chords at once. We can't do a bunch of things at once. We can only move between two chords. So let's take, again, just another simple example that you can apply to whatever it is you're going to be playing in your practice. Just C major, F major, G major, C major. So now, in between each one of those chord changes, I would ask myself, what's giving me trouble? Between C and F, can I use the guide finger? Yes, I can. Already that chord change is easier. Between F major and G major, ooh, I don't have any guide fingers I can use there, but maybe I can do the lift and shift. Lift, shift, success. So if I have a long and complex chord progression, I always break things down in whatever music I'm playing, because I just like to make things easier at the end of the day. Plus, it makes it a little bit more fun problem solving between every individual chord. And so there you have it. There's a couple different ways that you can really sort of zoom in on what's happening with your chord changes, whatever you're working on. So I hope it helps. If you have any questions, feel free to get in touch, and have a great day, all right? See you next time. All right, bye.